Hey everyone, it's me, Varlo. I'm a big fan of the Mortal Kombat franchise and was incredibly stoked to try out the all-new Mortal Kombat 1 that just released the other day. It's both a continuation of the Mortal Kombat 11 story, as well as a complete reimagining of the franchise in many ways. I've been having a great time with it, so I figured I would make a brief video discussing what I think of it so far. I haven't spent a ridiculous amount of time with the game, but I hope some of my thoughts can inform any gamers who are looking to pick this game up. I'm basing all my thoughts in this video on the 7 hours that I played it so far. I spent a lot of time playing online private matches, as well as experiencing the beginning of the story. Any story tidbits that I bring up come from the first 3 chapters of the game. If you care about any story spoilers, I would skip to this timestamp. The gist of the story is that after the events of Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath, Liu Kang has recreated the Mortal Kombat universe and has become Earthrealm's protector in place of Raiden. In the first 3 chapters, Liu Kang assembles his team of champions to fight in the latest tournament against Outworld. The champions he selects are Raiden, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, and Kenshi Takahashi. One of the things that is apparent right off the bat is how some things in this new universe are slightly different. That is something that I admire about this new story a lot. Many staples of the Mortal Kombat mythos have changed in all new ways. One that becomes apparent right away is how Liu Kang and Raiden have essentially swapped places in this timeline. Now Liu Kang is the teacher whilst Raiden is his pupil. It's an interesting dynamic that we've never really seen before. Another surprising twist on the formula is that Scorpion and Sub-Zero aren't bitter rivals and are instead brothers. Over the years we've seen Scorpion and Sub-Zero form a friendship in the stories of Mortal Kombat X and 11, but now this is a new take on their relationship completely. I haven't seen much of them yet in the chapters that I've completed, but I'm excited to see where they take these two beloved characters. Just a side note before we move on, Johnny Cage's writing was on point in this story. His comic relief has never been done better. All his clever quips and pop culture references are perfectly timed and hilarious. There's been some gameplay adjustments too that have made this experience pretty fresh. The main gimmick for this entry is the cameo system. Basically, a cameo is a partner character that has their own moves that can aid the main character throughout the fight. They have a surprising amount of depth since they all work pretty differently and have their own fatalities and brutalities. I know for a fact that I haven't seen what's truly possible with the cameo system yet because it's so early into the game's life. The speed of this game feels absolutely fantastic. I feel like it's much faster than Mortal Kombat 11, but still not quite as fast as Mortal Kombat X. I personally like the faster gameplay of X better, but the speed of 1 still feels great. Another big gameplay adjustment is the changes made to the returning Fatal Blow system. I wasn't the biggest fan of this in 11 because it felt like they were incredibly cheap. I'm happy to report that this time around they're heavily improved. Prior to the attack starting up, there's a quick animation that gives the other player time to react to the Fatal Blow. I feel this is a much more fair way of doing it because it makes the fatal blows much easier to punish. I'm part of the camp that still thinks that the X-ray system from Mortal Kombat 9 and X should return, but these improvements to the fatal blow system have made it much less intrusive on my overall experience. I would have no right to discuss Mortal Kombat if I didn't bring up the gruesome fatalities. I can vouch for the game when I say that these are some of the most despicable, shocking, and raw fatalities that have ever been made. There's some real crazy ones in here. The award for the most shocking fatalities I've seen goes to both of Raiko's fatalities. And the award for the most creative goes to Garrus' second fatality. The game's presentation is absolutely awesome. All of the stages in the game are incredibly vibrant and colorful. They're also super lively. In almost all of the maps you can see a lot of things going on in the background that you may miss if you don't watch closely. My favorite that I've found so far is seeing Sindel and Melina in the background of the Great Hall. I really felt like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme when I noticed them hanging out in the back. The roster this time around is also pretty great. There's 24 different characters in the base game, in addition to the cameo fighters, which adds a few other faces. The roster is solid, but my only gripe is that there isn't any new faces this time around. I will say that the blow is softened because there's a lot of representation from the 3D era of Mortal Kombat. I thought that was pretty awesome, and for most of the general audience, those characters are basically all new faces. The first DLC pack already looks great with the likes of Peacemaker, Homelander, Omni-Man, Quan Chi, Ermac, and Takeda Takahashi. I'm very excited to check them all out when they arrive. The last thing I'd like to bring up is the performance of the game. I'm playing this game on the PC version, so mileage may vary if you're picking up the game on PS5, Switch, or Xbox. So far, I haven't had any real performance hiccups at all. The game runs at a solid 60 frames per second during gameplay without any real drops. I spent about half of my playtime with NVIDIA DLSS turned off, and half with DLSS turned on. Both with and without it, performance was great and the game looked sharp. The only real nitpick I have with the performance of the game is that the fatalities, fatal blows, and menus are all locked at 30 FPS. This isn't a huge deal, but it is pretty jarring, especially when the game jumps between 30 and 60 during gameplay. Mortal Kombat 11 had this same issue at launch, but it was patched out later, so I'm sure this will be ironed out eventually. And those were just some of my first impressions of Mortal Kombat 1. I really haven't even scratched the surface of what this game has to offer yet, but I'm incredibly excited to see what else it has in store. So far, Mortal Kombat 1 seems like a really promising addition to the franchise for any fans of the series, both hardcore and casual. While there are a few minor issues with the game, I've overall had an incredibly fun and positive experience during my time with it. I really hope this video was able to help ease the minds of any hesitant buyers. Game prices are insane nowadays, so it's incredibly important to be informed on what a game really is before you purchase it. Time and time again, I've made uninformed game purchases that I really regretted, so I hope I was able to give you a nice sneak peek at what Mortal Kombat 1 really has to offer.